All right, let's dive into something truly fascinating today. We're looking at a brilliant piece by Asokamitran, who takes us inside the legendary Gemini Studios in Chennai back in the 1940s. It is a world packed with wild characters, secret rivalries, and, well, a very weird title, Poets and Pancakes. So let's get right to it. What's up with that title? Well, it's the key to everything. On one side, you have poets, representing real substance, big ideas, and literature. And on the other side, pancakes. This stands for all the fake stuff, the makeup, the superficial glamour, the world of appearances. I mean, you couldn't get more opposite, right? So that's the big mystery we're tackling. How in the world did these two things, the profound and the totally superficial, smash into each other inside the chaos of Gemini Studios? Let's figure it out. Okay, so let's start with the pancakes. And no, not the kind you eat for breakfast. We are talking about the brand of makeup that was practically holding Gemini Studios together. And trust me, the place where they slapped the stuff on was anything but glamorous. Yep, Pancake was literally the brand name of the makeup they used. And they used it by the truckload. According to our author, they caked it on so thick it turned actors into, and I love this quote, hideous crimson monsters. What a description. And get this, the setting for these monstrous makeovers was just as weird. The makeup department was apparently in Robert Clive's old stables. Picture this. It looked like a hair salon with these huge mirrors everywhere, but it was surrounded by giant, blazing hot, incandescent lights. The heat was so bad that Asokamitran called it a fiery misery. Just imagine sitting in that chair. Now this is where it gets really interesting. The makeup room was a perfect map of the studio's power structure. The head makeup artist only touched the main stars. His senior assistant got the second-string hero and heroine. The junior assistant handled the comedian. And all the way at the bottom, the office boy, whose only job was to slop makeup on the background actors in the crowd. Your status was literally painted on your face. But here's the amazing irony. This department, this little room of fiery misery, was also this incredible symbol of national integration. You had a Bengali working next to Maharashtrian, next to someone from Karnataka, an Anglo-Burmese person, and local Tamils, all working together decades before unity and diversity became a big government slogan. A little pocket of togetherness in a very, very hot room. So, we've seen the place, but what about the people? Let's move from the world of makeup to the human drama playing out behind the scenes. Because the real story at Gemini wasn't about the pancakes, it was about the people. And at the center of it all was a huge clash between two very different guys. So on one side, you have Kothamangalam Subbu. He was the #2 guy at the whole studio, a total genius, poet, actor, you name it. And he was always cheerful and super loyal to the boss. Everybody loved him. And then you have the office boy. This guy's in his 40s, and he's just simmering with frustration. He's convinced that his own dreams of being a famous writer were completely destroyed by Subbu's success. This quote just sums up Subbu's talent perfectly. The man was creative on demand. If a director got stuck on a scene, Subbu could instantly pitch 4 different ways to shoot it. He was a problem solver. And of course, his cheerful, can-do attitude just made the office boy despise him even more. All right, we've handled the pancakes. Now, it's time for the poets. Just when you think things at the studio couldn't get any more bizarre, some really strange visitors started showing up, which kicked off a mystery that would actually take years to unravel. First up, this group called the Moral Rearmament Army rolls in. They were this international troupe that was all about being anti-communist, and they put on these big plays. The folks at Gemini loved the costumes and the big sets, but they had absolutely no clue what the political message was all about. But this was just the warm-up act. A little while later, the studio starts prepping for another VIP visitor. The boss makes a big announcement. Someone really important is coming, all the way from England. Now, this was a pretty big deal in India right after independence, but the mystery just got deeper when they found out what this guy did for a living. He was a poet. You can just imagine the confusion. A poet? From England? Visiting a Tamil film studio that made movies for everyday people? It made zero sense to anyone. So the poet gets up and gives a speech, but his English accent was so heavy and his topic was so out there that nobody, and I mean nobody, understood a single word. He's talking about freedom and democracy, but what does that have to do with making movies? The whole visit was a total, baffling mystery. For years, everyone wondered, Who was that guy? And why on earth did he come to Gemini Studios? And now it's time for the big reveal. This is the moment where all these separate threads, the makeup, the jealousy, the weird visitors, all snap together, and we finally understand the author's brilliant point. To really get it, we need to know this word, satire. See, Asokamitran isn't just telling funny stories from his past. He's using humor, irony, and exaggeration to make a much, much bigger point about the world he was in. The title itself is the heart of the whole satire. Pancakes is the studio's obsession with how things look on the surface. Poets is that world of real meaning and substance that the studio kind of dabbled in, but never ever truly understood. Let's break it down. The whole story is a satire, poking fun at the absurd way movies get made. It's a hilarious commentary on miscommunication, right? I mean, The English Poet's Visit is the perfect example. It's about true talent like Sabu's clashing with rigid, pointless rules. But most importantly, it exposes the boss's political confusion, this vague, paranoid fear of communism that was the real reason for all these strange visitors. And here it is, the solution to the mystery. Years later, the author finally figured it out. The mystery poet was Stephen Spender. So why was he there? Because the studio boss, even though his staff were all Gandhi followers who wore khadi, had this vague anti-communist stance. So he invited Spender, who edited an anti-communist magazine, to come speak. And the best part? The ultimate irony is that Spender was talking about why he left communism, but nobody in his audience even knew what communism was. So you might be thinking, okay, that's a quirky story from a film studio 70 years ago. Why should I care? Because under all that humor, Asokamitran is talking about things that are totally timeless and universal. This story is about something we all know, the gap between our creative dreams and the reality of our day jobs. You see that perfectly in The Office Boy. It's about the silly rules and hierarchies we still deal with today. It's a masterclass in the comedy that comes from cultural mix-ups, and at its heart, it's a deeply human story about why we admire some people and get so jealous of others. And that leaves us with one last question to think about, this clash between what's real and what's fake, between substance and just putting on a show. That's everywhere. So take a second and look around your own life, your job, the stuff you see online. What are your poets and what are your pancakes? It's definitely something worth thinking about. Thanks for joining me.